Hello everyone, Tech1421 here. Welcome back to another Pokemon moveset video. Today we're going to be covering one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and that is Kingdra. Kingdra is an awesome Pokemon. I didn't really like Seadra that much, but when they introduced Kingdra into the Pokemon universe, I love this Pokemon. It's always been one of my top 10 Pokemon. It's moved back and forth into my top 5 and a little bit out of it and then back in and all that stuff, but it's always been in my top 10. It's a fantastic Pokemon. There's a lot of different movesets you can make with this Pokemon. There's a lot of different things you can do with this Pokemon, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys, my subscribers and viewers and stuff, my very favorite, it's kind of a double negative, not really a negative, but a double, I don't know what I'm saying there. It's my favorite moveset for this Pokemon, and overall it's one of my favorite movesets, and linked with a Pokemon that I've ever created and ever used. I've been using this moveset with this Pokemon for probably 4+ years. It's definitely a very dangerous and very good moveset, and not a lot of people see it coming either, so I really like it, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Let's talk about Kingdra really fast, what you may have experienced in past battles with Kingdra, and what you may have used with a Kingdra set before. First, let's talk about its typing a little bit, because I know that's pretty important. So Kingdra is Water and Dragon type, which is a pretty darn good typing. You don't see that very often, if at all. I'm not really sure if there's any other Water Dragon type Pokemon out there. But it is nonetheless Water Dragon, which means that it is only weak to Fairy, ×2 weakness to Fairy and other dragons, which is really good. It's resistant to the normal types that would be really good against Water and Dragon. So things like Ice type and Grass type and Electric type, it only takes neutral damage against, which is really darn good. And it's neutral damage to a lot of other things. It only resists 3 different typings, which is Metal, Water, and one other thing that I'm forgetting. But it's definitely really good typing. Other uses for Kingdra that you might have seen before, I think the most common one is probably Specs Kingdra with a Draco Meteor and Dragon Pulse and Scold or Surf, and then probably like Ice Beam or something like that. That's probably the most common set. Also, a new set that's a lot of people have been using is a Scopes Lens Kingdra with the Sniper ability, and then another move that gives it it focuses the energy or whatever to increase the chance of getting crit hits. So basically, it's a pretty darn cool set. I definitely recommend checking that out as well. I didn't do a video on it, but I've seen gameplays of it and stuff, and it's pretty deadly. The combination of it, but there's also other, Swift Swimming is definitely, like on rain teams, is very good, and also I've used a Choice Banded Kingdra, but this is by far, this one right here is my favorite moveset. So let's go ahead and get into that one really quickly for everyone. First of all, the EVs, IVs, all that fun stuff. You can see its base stats are pretty good. It's pretty throughout the entire thing, it's pretty, I don't know, average or consistent with one another. It's a pretty good attack and defense, special attack, special defense, speed. You can pretty much do a lot of different things, like I was explaining with this Pokemon. But for this particular moveset, we're going to want to max out the speed, max out the attack, make it adamant to increase the attack even further. You're going to get that 317 if you max it out all the way, 269 speed, and I chose to put 4 on defense. You can put anywhere you want. It's just kind of a personal preference. I think defense is good. Keep that 291. Have an odd number in the HP, just so that the substitute takes off. I'm pretty sure it takes off 1 less damage when you use it. So let's go ahead and get into substitute first. I put substitute on a lot of different sweepers, and I noticed that a lot. People have been asking me questions about that. I think substitute is very, very useful for this moveset, and I wanted to explain that a little bit before we get into the other 3 moves. And so if you come in with Kingdra on something like a Fire-type Pokemon, and they know you're probably going to use like a Water-type move, like a Surf or something like that, or a Scold. We have Waterfall, but any kind of Water-type move they're probably expecting and probably think they're going to be taken out with that. So if you can sub, and you're golden from there, really. You can sub, get a free Dragon Dance off the next turn, and go from there. Also, things like Rock-type, also, you can come in on and bait out the, or I guess, you know, try to make them think that you're going to be using the Waterfall. I guess bluff the Waterfall or the Surf or water type move. They're going to be thinking water type move and get the sub off. Also, things that can't really do any damage to you, things that you're faster than that are going to be trying to possibly, you know, hit you with some kind of special conditions like a toxic or a burn or, you know, whatever, will-wisp, paralyze. You can definitely get that sub off. And then the next turn, Dragon Dance, once you had that free move. Dragon Dance is a very, very cool move, and it's one of the most dangerous setup moves in the game, in my opinion, next to like Swords Dance. And what it basically does is it gives you a choice band and a scarf, choice scarf in one, because it raises the attack and speed by 1, but you're not locked into one particular move. So it's going to raise the power of your attack and speed by 1. So it's 1.5 and 1.5 in both your attack and your speed. From there, you're going to be outspeeding a lot of different things. There's not going to be too many things that are going to be outspeeding you, and there's not any priority type moves that can take you out in one hit from there. So you're going to be very, very dangerous. You know, things like Bullet Punch isn't going to do any damage to you. Things like, you know, Quick Attack's not going to do too much damage. Fake Out, not too much damage. The other two moves, that once you're set up with these two moves, you are golden if you do get set up. If you are behind a substitute with a Dragon Dance boost, I don't think that, you know, the person's going to be very, very scared out of their mind. You're going to be at least take out one Pokemon from there, if not more. You can usually sweep their team if you get the Fairy types and the Dragon types out of the way. And even if you don't get the Dragon types out of the way, if you're faster than the Dragon types, you can easily get them out of the way once you Outrage. But the Fairy types are going to be your problem with this Pokemon. If there's any Fairy types on the other team, you're going to want to get them out of the way as soon as possible before you go into Kingdra, because they can stop your Outrage, and the Waterfall is not going to be doing too much, even with the boost. So yeah, your two moves that you're going to be using as far as attacking is going to be Waterfall and Outrage. Let's go with Waterfall first. Does have that 20% chance to flinch. Don't really rely on that too much. But with the Dragon Boost Rage and their Dragon Dance Rage and the stab, Waterfall is going to be hitting for a lot of damage, and it's just a physical attack, so we're going with the physical boost. You're not going to want to use Surf or Scald because those are special moves, and this is the only water physical move that you can really use for this Pokemon. So let's go ahead and go with that. Waterfall going to be hitting for a lot of damage, and then your go-to attacking move is going to be your sweeping move that is going to be hitting for a lot of damage, and that is Outrage. 120 base power, 100% accuracy. It lasts for 2 to 3 turns. Confuses the user afterward, and that's why we had the Lumberry. We'll get to that in a second. But Outrage with the Dragon Dance boost and the stab is going to be hitting for a lot of damage. Nothing is going to want to take this except for Fairy types and possibly some other types that some other really bulky Pokemon. But you can pretty much two-hit anything, if not one-hit anything. And it depends on how many Dragon Dances you get off, but it's going to be a very, very scary move once it goes off and you have those boosts behind you. If you have the sub up and the Dragon Dance, and if you Outrage, you are golden. You are good to go. And if you do get a crit, it's going to be doing that 50% extra damage. So that is a very, very scary thing to encounter. The Lumberry, because you do get confused after 2 to 3 turns, it's a very good idea to have the Lumberry on there. You get rid of your confusion right away. You don't want to be all set up and then you Outrage and then it goes away and then you confuse yourself and someone gets rid of your sub and then they kill you or something like that. So essentially, you can survive one confusion, get rid of one confusion, and then go from there. Also, you can use it if you want to come in on something that's going to like burn you and you don't have like a fire type or something, or you don't have anything to, consume the burn. Or you don't want anything else to take the burn. You can definitely do that if you think they're going to toxic you and you don't have like a steel type. You can come in and get rid of that. Also with like paralyze and all the different situations for sleep and everything. But if you're already in, they're going to use a special condition, just go for the sub. Don't waste your Lumberry right away and go from there. And also make it shiny if you can. I know that's not always a viable option, but Shiny Kingdra is one of the coolest shiny Pokemon out there. So that's Kingdra for you. Also, name it TitsMiggie. TitsMiggie is what I name all my Pokemon. All my Kingdras that I have. I named TitsMiggie, and it's kind of like little inside thing for myself that I do. But hope you enjoy the moveset. Also, Sniper, I don't think I talked about that too much, but use that as your ability. I think it's better than Swift Swim for this particular moveset. But yeah, that's going to be the moveset. I hope you enjoy. If you can leave this video a like, I definitely would really appreciate it. I really enjoy this set. Go ahead and check it out or try it for yourself in battle and games. It does a lot of damage and it's very effective on certain teams. You can use it in OU, you can use it in UU. It's good in both, and it's probably better in UU, but just because OU it's a little bit tougher, but it's still very good in OU. And yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the little bit of the montage after this video. You can kind of get a glimpse of how I play with this and how effective it really is, and go from there. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll see everyone later. Peace.